Hey, what is up, guys? It's Brendan here, and today we're going to be taking a look at and reacting to credit card debt TikTok videos, taking a look at things, reacting to them, just seeing how crazy things are today. So here we have the first video. Let's go ahead and get started.
I have a question. How much credit card debt are you in? Because for context, I'm 26, I've been working since 17, paying for my own shit, moved out at 18, have been independent ever since. And I have $10,000 worth of credit card debt. And I will be the first to admit that I'm not perfect. I've definitely paid off medical bills and like emergency vet visits and things on my credit card, but I've also bought a lot of dumb shit. But it's like people my age have $55,000 worth of credit card debt. Do you see how my eye's twitching? That shit stresses me out. Like $55,000 is my take-home salary from my last job. Like, I think I'm just morbidly curious on like what gets you to the point of $55,000.
Yeah, just to pause it real quick, like, it's insane to me how much, and people sometimes don't even think about the interest rate on there too, which we'll be getting into a little bit later in the video. We'll be taking a look at the comments too, but that is just such an insane amount to rack up, especially over things that are just such like non-essentials like she's getting at here.
$1,000 worth of credit card debt. Also, who gave you $55,000 worth of credit in general? Like, not to mention, my credit usage, way high. Like 90 something percent. So my interest rates, 30%.
Yeah.
The interest would make me want to throw up. I have a question.
Yeah, and this top comment here, I put everything on my credit card and pay it off every month. I don't think credit card debt is normal. It really shouldn't be, given if you know the math around it, like she said, that 30% interest rate, that's insane. That's really like what everyone should do is if you can't pay it off at the end of the month, don't buy it. It really is honestly that simple when it comes to the in and out. And as you can see here, watching Caleb Hammer videos helped me pay off my debt. Once you realize how bad the debt is, it comes off first priority. Yelling at me for being dumb, it's good motivation. Yeah, and $10,000 is quite a lot, and $1,000 of credit card debt, like, any little bit definitely adds up. So let's get into the next video here.
I need everyone to know this about being in your early 20s. You will meet people that are going to Europe every summer, buying new cars, buying new outfits, going to Coachella. And if you are wondering, how can they afford to be living like this? Like, is something wrong with me that I'm not able to spend like that? Just know they aren't spending like that because they're working harder than you, because they're networking better than you, because they're better connected. They're probably not even generationally wealthy. They are just in massive amounts of credit card debt. How much someone spends and the life that they portray on social media is not necessarily reflective of how much money they are really making. Nothing is wrong with you if you're not able to spend like that.
And that may or may not be true. It just depends on the person. But just because somebody else is necessarily going to Europe or going to other places doesn't necessarily impact the fact that, you still may feel like FOMO or some sort of fear of missing out, which I get a lot of people in my generation, this girl, our generation is just like can tend to feel that way, especially with social media. Like, it can be pretty destructive. So I get people may feel like that. And it's not necessarily the best thing, constant comparison and just, feeling that on a regular basis anytime you go on apps and, different highlight reels. Like, I post stuff I enjoy, but yeah.
In fact, you are way better off in the long run because you are living within your means instead of going into crazy debt to portray a lifestyle that is far above it. I need everyone to know.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you can't afford it, you don't do it at the end of the day. Like, it's not worth credit card debt for some trip or something like that just to say that you were able to do it. As you can see here, credit card debt is no joke. It's always credit card debt or rich parents. There's other situations too for some people maybe in, but yeah, that's probably the sad reality that a lot of people. I'm a debit card queen. Yeah, credit card. I mean, honestly, if you can't handle paying a credit card, the statement balance in full every single month, and knowing when that bill comes, honestly, debit card might not be a bad option for some people that would rather just see that money, what's in their checking account, and just focus on that if you can't handle it, because at that point, the points are not worth it. If you can't manage, if it's going to influence you to spend more than you make, then it really just isn't worth it. And you can kind of go the whole like Dave Ramsey approach and just going with debit cards. Like if you can't handle it, some people can handle credit cards, some people can't. And that's just the reality of it. I thought my debt was bad, and then I saw a girl my age that is 300,000 deep, and I felt a lot better. I don't know how you would even get $300,000 in credit card debt unless you got an American Express business card. Those are maybe the like a charge card or something. Those are like the only ones with that. Like credit cards have limits. Honestly, I don't know how you get up to 300,000. I feel like that might be like student debt or something like that. That's the only way, because there's no way 300,000 in credit card. Like I don't think credit cards would even let you get to that high. So that's got to be student loans or something like that. But either way, let's go ahead and continue. Let's get into the next video here. So we got Caleb Hammer video.
Credit 1 is an indication of you essentially being in like the worst finances possible.
I haven't been making payments.
What are you?
But this just started 3 months ago. Because I
3
couldn't
months and no
afford
payments?
it.
Couldn't afford it? Are you kidding me right now? Spoiled brat. You spent $500 going out to eat. You spent $135 getting Red Bulls. And then you took money from your boyfriend and had your parents get a house for you.
My life is ruined. Now that you're telling me all this.
Red Bull, 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 Red Bull.
I don't know how she even drinks that much Red Bull. I'll just say that.
Red Bull, 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 Red Bull. At least it's the 0 calorie for your diabetes and your 0 sugar. Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull. Great. Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull. Dutch Bros, Dutch Bros, Dutch Bros. Looks like we decided to be a coffee person that day. Red Bull,
no,
Red
I
Bull.
don't get coffee.
Great.
You kind of scare me.
Yeah, well, he's only reading your statement. You should be scaring yourself in that situation. Oh, no. I have 2 Credit One credit cards, and I absolutely love them. Credit One, not to get into it too much, but they tend to just send... A lot of people think it's Capital One. They're not a great company. Like, it's just... it's not necessarily the best credit cards out there. It's available. Credit One, Capital One, Amex. Yeah, you can get a paid minimum at least. Yeah, I mean, some people, if they're not even paying the minimum, at least the amount of interest that they're racking up, even then, is just insane. I don't understand the people who hate coffee but enjoy the questionable flavor of Red Bull. You and me both, Velda. Whenever buy something non-essential, I hear Caleb screaming at me, help me cut at least half of my frivolous spending. If that's what it takes, thinking about financial influencers or people on the internet, to kind of bully you into not spending. I mean, maybe that's what it takes for some people. Yeah, I mean, those little, all those Red Bulls add up. I mean, $5 a day, $10 a day, it all adds up. All right, let's get into the next video here.
If you are in between jobs, you are struggling, and you genuinely need to accumulate credit card debt, this is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about people that go out to dinners, go on vacation. I feel like there's a lot of young, impressionable people on this app, and I want you guys to know that it is not normal. I talk to my friends, we do not have credit card debt. It is not funny. Unfortunately, real life is real. Living within your means is so much better. I have one more hot take. Credit card debt is not normal.
Yeah, it shouldn't be normal, although it does seem like, honestly, it's fairly common, despite that it shouldn't be normalized or whatnot. Like, you should live within your means. If you make a certain dollar amount, don't spend over what you make. Like she said, if you're in between jobs or in a situation where you know, your regular income is disrupted in some sort of way, then like, you know, that's what you have an emergency fund for in a best case scenario. But if things happen, like there's a million different ways you could go about it. But like this is mainly speaking at people, you know, on a month to month basis, paycheck to paycheck, even for just regular things, and overspending on frivolous spending is kind of what she's getting at, or, you know, just going above what you would be able to actually make, like your income minus your expenses, and being able to have some money left over in an ideal situation, even if you have a decent job. So yeah, right. I have $2,000 credit card debt. I'm trying to start to pay it off. Yeah, because honestly, a lot of times people, they may even make a decent income. Like the first clip, $55,000 a year income is decent income, like average maybe around that range. And, you know, if you don't track your spending, you don't set a budget, or you don't do that, it could be very easy to overspend just a little bit each month and actually be in the red month to month if you don't track your overall income and expenses month to month. And you might just slowly slip out of that, just especially with how expensive things have gotten in the cost of living. You know, not focusing on that too much in this video, but that can contribute to the credit card debt just without tracking. And, you know, anytime someone tells me they have credit card debt any kind of more like 3K, I'm like, what? Yeah. The interest alone, like 30% interest rate, 30%. You cannot beat that anywhere. Like the credit card companies are robbing you blind. If you even 3,000, it doesn't matter the amount. It's the interest rate on that amount that is just going to add up so quickly and snowball out of your control. Even if it is just 1,000, 2,000, like, yeah, as you can see here, impulse shopping, literally making under 40K racked up debt. Yeah, I mean, again, like she said here, I have a lot of friends who do the same. My mom luckily watched my credit spending very closely. Yeah, I mean, if you have a parent or maybe someone you trust that can help you with it, that's great. You know, in terms of watching things, it's good for you to build those financial habits yourself, though, to be an adult, or, you know, adulting properly, you know, honestly. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into the next video here. We actually have a Dave Ramsey video. 35 credit cards. Let's get into it.
35 credit cards, and I owe $19,000 in them. Mm-hmm. $30,000 school loan, which I have not paid, and we take home $6.
Hold up. Before we get into this, one of these top comments, 35 and only owing $19,000 ain't bad on a credit card at 30% interest rate. I'm just going to say that's not good. Okay? That is not good. That is going to get out of control very quickly.
$60,000. Mm-hmm. I wanted to pay off some credit cards, but every week it just seems that I'm paying something. Mm-hmm. Like all minimums. Mm-hmm. It's just living paycheck by paycheck.
Okay. Are you ready to endure some pain to get rid of this mess?
It's going to leave us with hardly anything.
Are you ready to endure some pain to get rid of this mess?
Yes, I am.
What about your husband?
Oh, yes, he is.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
and the two of you need to sit down together, go on everydollar.com and do your budget tonight.
Okay.
You can download it to your iPhone or your Android or your desktop. It's free. A check comes in, all the money goes out, and then you're broke and you can't figure out how to go to the grocery store.
Yes, exactly.
You're not living by any kind of plan. This money is owning you. You don't own it.
Yes.
And you got to get the other side of it, and the budget helps you do that. You're telling your money what to do instead of wondering where it went.
Okay.
And then you and your husband are in agreement. We're going to sacrifice deeply because I am so sick of living like this.
Yes, definitely.
And when you get sick and tired, you're ready to change your life, kiddo.
Yes.
You can do it. And you call me back if you need help, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, that's the blueprint. I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, that just it gets away from a lot of people. And the whole it's not that bad. Like, it's not that bad, man. It's not that bad. Like, that's not a great mentality. Hey, at least you have this guy here. I'm $1,200 in credit card debt, and I'm not sleeping well. Yeah, I mean, that's what it does to you. I mean, it's stressful. Like, I get it. Like, that's life. But Yeah, I mean, the budget can be every dollar isn't free. I am like pretty certain they do have a free version. That is an app by Dave Ramsey, of course, so like self-promotion there, but I'm pretty sure they still have a free version that people can use. So like, yeah, they're paid they have a paid version, like a pro version, but they do have a free version. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of different budgeting apps, spreadsheets. The budgeting app I personally use is Monarch Money, shameless plug. I like them. I like using them. There's a whole bunch of different ones out there that help with tracking your spending, whether it be like cash flow or even if you just don't even want to use any apps. You could literally just look at your bank statements and see the transactions and do it manually, even with a spreadsheet or a paper pencil or whatnot. Like there's a bunch of different ways to do it. Some people like cash envelopes and things like that. Like there's a lot of different ways to help sort of set a budget and a plan to eliminate the credit card debt and the problem, and to pay them down. So yeah, I like Dave, in general, and that's a pretty good advice there in that situation. Moving on, next video here, we've got another one.
When I was in 10 grand credit card debt. One simple thing that helped me so much, and this is a concept that comes from Dave Ramsey. I pulled out $100 every single week.
Yeah, so this is the cash envelope thing I was talking about in terms of credit card debt payoff sort of strategy.
And that was all that I had for food. And some weeks that meant that I got pizza and Starbucks. And some weeks that meant that I was eating baked potatoes every single day. But it was something that was so simple that helped me not only financially, but helped me physically because I was eating better, helped me mentally because I was getting better nutrients, helped me emotionally because gut health is brain health. It helped me in every area of my life that I wanted to develop, and it just was as simple as taking out $100 and going to the grocery store and paying in cash instead of a card. Try it out. When I was in...
Yeah, I mean, that's something that works for some people. Like, of course, you're not going to get the credit card points and things like that, but if you're already $10,000, 10 grand in credit card debt, you should not be worrying about the points anyway. One thing that's crazy to me, though, a couple of these top comments here, 10 grand, child's play. 10 grand, LOL, that's just one credit card for me, and I'm not worried about it. Like, why are you not worried about it? Like, are you just, if you don't see it, can't see it, can't think about it type of mentality? I mean, you should be worried about it, honestly. That's just not a good thing. And like she even was getting at too, like the mental health side of things, like if you can eliminate that stress in your life, you're just going to live a more stress-free life, which can be nice. Now, I get there's maybe one thing goes away, there's maybe another stress or whatever, not getting into that too much, but it could definitely improve your overall quality of life if you're not worrying about, $10,000 in credit card debt that's accruing at 30% interest rate and slowly getting away from you, over the course of months or even years to people, take to build this type of debt up. So yeah, I mean, good for her for finding something that works, as you can see here, $100 for grocery budget, eating out, all the above. Yeah. I mean, like if you're going hardcore about it, like if you can get it down to $100, like it depends on how much you need to eat, but that can definitely save you money there. All right, moving into the next video here. And this one, I had to mute it because there's like a music and stuff, copyright music, but this is sort of like what people could do. So I'm in credit card debt. Here's what I spend my money and time on today. Oh, and one other comment here I did miss on the last video is balance transfer. Like that might save you in the short term in a plan to pay down debt, but that is not a long-term solution. That can be an effective short-term solution with balance transfers, but that is not a great long-term solution. I hope that's what she's hinting at in a short-term solution. But anyway, let's get into this one. Breakfast at home, $0. Yep. I mean, it's not completely free. you had to spend money at the grocery store and for some of those supplies and things like that. But yeah, I mean, total spent $0. Yeah, I mean, that's one way to save money too, is just to like stay in, don't just have a nice chill day, do some other things. Like, see, as you can see here, cooking at home instead of buying food has been a game changer for me. Never realized how much money I was spending weekly. Yeah, I mean, some people, if you don't lay out the plan, or if you don't lay out like how much your actual statements are and how much you're spending every day, you can very quickly not realize like, oh my gosh, I actually spent like $300, $400 on restaurants, things like that. Or you just go, hardcore mode and just only cooking at home. You're not going to be tempted to eat out. And as long as you're buying like decent food at the grocery store, that's, in bulk or cheaper amounts, like you can get it and save a good amount of money. And is generally healthier too. That, cooking at home can be, at least, depends on what you buy, but yeah. Moving into the next one here. This is another one I had to mute because the music, it's actually the Family Guy Peter Griffin audio. So if you've heard that, dancing, 30,000 in credit card debt, Victoria's Secret credit card debt, like $30,000. Yeah, I applied for this credit card. I haven't activated yet. Oh man. One time I bought a single body spray with a card, forgot to pay it off, and forgot the credit card existed with interest. I owed like $1,000. Ooh, that's an expensive mistake, that's for sure. Not knowing that it existed and the interest is blowing up on you. I mean, that's why, people use like Credit Karma, things like that, to track all their accounts, or some sort of credit monitoring thing, just because, like, yeah, you don't want to forget about something like that, that's for sure. $700 at Ulta. Yeah, I mean, I've never spent $700 at Ulta, so that's on me. But yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Like, I gotta imagine this is real. People that post this kind of video, especially, like, you would think it's real. I mean, because that's a lot in underwear. All right, moving on to the next video here.
This is at the credit limit. So then why would we purchase on this card?
But we're not.
This card.
We're not.
You did in this statement. This statement. We're only talking about this. Oh, hey. No, we're only talking about the statement that exists.
Yeah, and if you look at it, what purchases are on the statement?
That's not true. I have the statement literally in front of me.
Okay,
so I don't know what the you're talking about.
Tell me what I bought.
DoorDash and something on Apple.
Didn't I say food?
You just told me. Oh, this conversation is gonna push me to my limit. I can already.
DoorDash.
Can tell. You just told me that there was no purchase on the statement right in front of me. Then there obviously is two of them, and one of them is the DoorDash, one of the most expensive ways to get food ever. This is at the.
Yeah. God, his face sometimes on some of these videos, I swear. But yeah, the statement, like, that she was spending on the DoorDash stuff, it's just, oh my gosh, like, DoorDash, like he said, is literally the most expensive way to get food. Like, spending money going into credit card debt on DoorDash, of all things, is just, I mean, it's just extreme laziness if you don't have the time or the energy. I don't know, honestly. Like, it's just so expensive. It's so expensive. Restaurants have to increase all their prices on those apps just to cover the cost of the service, outside of the delivery fee, mind you. If you've got crazy money, spend it on DoorDash. Do whatever you want. But, like, most people are not in that situation. Like, maybe if that's a treat for you, but going into credit card debt, especially for DoorDash, like, that is insane. Go to the grocery store, or just get something. Like, that seriously is one of the worst ways to go into credit card debt. That's for sure. Yeah, it's just so expensive, man. Yeah, that's enough said on that one. Here we're going into the last video here, and this is something that This next one, I honestly thought was kind of a joke. I didn't really think that people actually did this, and maybe this is sort of a joke. But yeah, let's just get right into it.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look.
Yeah, so I guess people do actually freeze not just their credit, but also their credit cards to avoid spending on it. Yeah. Hey, I mean, yeah, because you're serious. Why did I just have to do this? Because you're serious about getting out of debt. Hey, I mean, if that's what works for you, yeah, I mean, some people are like, oh, I got it on my phone. I memorized the credit card number, Apple Pay. Yeah, I mean, if you've got that that's ways to get around it. It took freeze the account literally. Yeah, 100%. Definitely freezing the account literally. That is funny. Yeah, I mean, hey, if it works for you, it works for you. That's one way to avoid going into further credit card debt. Yeah, and I just want to end this video off on a note too, with this from Forbes, just showing you average credit card interest rate by card type. Okay, any of the card types, almost 30%. Okay, across credit cards. And then one other thing they have here, in terms of the actual cost comparison, like if you had a $7,500 credit card balance, a monthly payment $175, interest rate 23%. 88 months to pay it off, and $7,831 in total interest paid, higher than the actual balance. Okay, if the interest rate on the same amount was just 4 percentage points higher at 27%, $16,000 in total interest paid. So if that alone does not kind of like kick you into high gear if you have credit card debt, or to make sure to stay out of it, or find some way to avoid doing that, or some sort of solution, I honestly don't know what will. I mean, $16,000 in interest for nothing, basically, at the end of the day. Yeah, craziness. So, yeah, guys, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this new type of video on the channel here. This is my first time trying a sort of TikTok reaction video content. So if you enjoyed it, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Leave a comment down below what your thoughts are on this type of content. You know, if you want to see more, or comment anything you'd like to see more in terms of like maybe other kind of finance content, TikTok React type videos. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.